So what would be a typical application for these blend modes, and when would you use them? Well, a good example is when you want to have light added to a scene. If you then add that light as a separate image, you don't want the light to replace whatever is on the scene. You want it to get added on top of the scene. For example, I have an effect a bit further down here. Let's scroll a bit forward into this presentation. In this part of it, I have a scene of a robot that is shooting lighting bolts on this little piggy bank thing over here. Let's zoom in here a bit so you can better see. I press Control Alt to be able to drag in the stage window like this, and then Control and drag across to zoom in so I can see only the part that I want to see here. Now the way this looks, if you just run it, it happens rather quickly, so I hope this comes through in the screencast. We'll look at it in slow motion later, but essentially what it does is that the robot turns, it shoots a couple of colored lighting bolts on the piggy bank, and then returns to the same position. Now each of these lighting bolts are represented by the cues that you have here, and you can see if we move slowly through here that they show up as three different colored blobs, and the blobs are what is being done shown by the image that you have here. And if you would just look at this image on its own without having any change made to the blend mode, let's go back a little further. You can open it up and turn off the blend mode, set that back to normal. Then you can see that the image is actually black. The outer part of the image is black, and only the inner part of this blob is red. So in the normal blend mode, this is what you would see. But when you turn on the add blend mode, only the light areas get added. The black areas don't really contribute anything to the result because of this additive behavior. So this would be a typical case where the add mode would be useful in that it adds to whatever is underneath. If we zoom in a little bit further here again, and we look at what happens when these lighting bolts move across, you can see that you can see what's behind them, which is what would be the case if this was light getting added to the scene. It doesn't cover up what's underneath, it just makes it lighter as it moves across. So you see it blends nicely with the objects that are there before, and it just adds more light to the scene. So that's the behavior of the additive blend mode.